are you willing to sacrifice and what are you willing to give up to find every bit of who you are as a human being?
Don't let what you are stop you from being what you could be.
List all the things that you aren't willing to give up for the dreams that you have, and that is what the person who will beat you is willing to give up.
Hey, guess what? It's going to be the hardest thing you ever did.
To be able at any moment to sacrifice what you are for what you will become.
I can describe this in one word, all about sacrifice.
Anything in your life, you better believe one of the ingredients gonna be sacrifice.
To get anything of value, you have to sacrifice.
This is dreams we're talking about. We're talking about dreams.
It will cost you everything.
You want to be great? You need to sacrifice. And the more painful the sacrifice, the greater you'll be.
Accept that all of your heroes are full of it. Your heroes aren't gods, they're just regular people who got particularly good at one thing by sacrificing literally everything else.
Dreams require sacrifices.
What are you willing to forgo?
You think you have a limit. As soon as you touch this limit, something happens and you suddenly can go a little bit further. With your mind power, your determination, your instinct, and the experience as well, you can fly very high.
the token of new possibilities.
Reborn from the stars, Terra Classic begins its journey with purpose. This isn't just crypto, it's a global movement. At TerraClassic.money, your path begins. With true DeFi power, staking, governance, and control, builders create freely in a permissionless world. Secure your stake, earn, and fortify the chain. Lead the change by voting and proposing. From ruins we rise, stronger than ever. Join us. Terra Classic is your future.
Week, the latest and largest failure to date in the crypto space transpired.
One of the most promising crypto projects collapsed.
It's called Luna, which is theoretically backed by a controversial stablecoin named Terra.
YouTuber KSI lost $2.8 million.
More than $40 billion in wealth, a large part of it from retail investors, was gone.
Luna has gone from $80 a token to less than $1.
Luna went down from an all-time high of $119 to virtually zero.
Why do we force? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up.
I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career.
You're not going to score on every shot. Doesn't mean you shouldn't take the shots. Doesn't mean you shouldn't try to hit the goal.
Ever tried? Ever failed?
Like everyone else, you want to learn the way to win, but never to accept the way to lose.
I'm gonna fail.
And you're gonna fail.
I'm gonna fail.
And you're gonna fail.
I'm gonna fail.
And you're gonna fail.
And I will succeed.
And then you're gonna win.
26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed.
If you want to give up, you can give up. This is your choice.
I've failed over and over and over again in my life.
Now, the only place to go from failure,
and that is why I succeed,
is to win.
You can't go back. Once you started this damn journey, you can only go forward.
Try again. Fail again.
Getting everybody in
Fail
will start
better.
in 2 minutes.
What if I can become someone that no one thinks I can be?
The hardest choices require the strongest wills.
My brain, you cannot process failure. You're a failure? That's almost worse than death.
Welcome to Luncverse, a next-gen metaverse experience, powered by Web3 infrastructure and engineered by Antier. When blockchain innovation meets metaverse mastery, a new era begins. Explore over 40 interactive zones, banking, gaming, residential.
Vegas draft will send you invites to speak. Let me know if you got them, please. Thumbs up.
Good afternoon and welcome on this special Sunday of Terra Classic Market Module 2.0 space. I want to thank everybody to be here for the day. Especially, I want to thank Vegas for being part of the space, taking the big step and stepping up to the plate. And let's have every single question you guys have answered today, and let's get this thing rolling, right? So we got with us Bleeps. How are you doing today, Bleeps?
I'm doing very good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Excellent, my man. We have Juris Protocol. We have, if I'm mistaken, LL69 on the other side.
Hi, I'm. Thanks for the invite. I'm LL, the founder. I don't know if Till can be here. I can ask him, but I don't think so. So you have to be happy with me today.
That's awesome. That's more than better. And we got Mr. Diamond Hands. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing great, man. Fantastic. Fantastic. Looking forward to this space. It's going to be a big one. So, guys, make sure you're liking this space and getting it out to the entire Lunc Classic community, because the market module has been a very hot topic for the past 3 years. So, glad to be here.
Excellent. And finally, we got Vegas. Vegas Morp, how are you doing today, sir?
Yo, very good. Thank you for the invite, guys. I think this is going to be a great space and there's a lot to talk about. So yeah, let's go.
Awesome. Amazing, guys. Well, that is all for me today. Basically, what I'll do is hand this over to the co-hosts and the hosts themselves. They're going to take care of the space. Towards the end, we're going to have a open session for about 10 to 15 minutes that we can answer all questions from the community. Each host is going to have 4 questions each that are going to ask to the proposers themselves, and let's get this show rolling. So the first one to go will be Mr. Diamond Hands.
Excellent, guys. Yeah, so glad to be here as always. I want to thank everybody on the panel, all the speakers here. Like I said, this has been a very hot topic for going on 3 years now. So yeah, guys, let's deep dive right into this and get things rocking and rolling. So this can be for either Vegas or Strath. We're going to try to keep this space as quickly as we can, guys. So I'll just deep dive right into my questions, right? So first question from me, right? What is the process for testing, and how long should we be able to make a proper assessment before implementation on the Market Module 2.0? This is for either Strath or for Vegas.
And if Strat is oh, Strat, are you here?
I don't know if you can hear me. Hello.
Yes, we can, mate.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Some
okay, you can start,
issues.
mate. Go. Did you hear the question? It's regarding the test suite, regarding the
testing phase, but I guess he means deployment on mainnet and not implementation. Yes. Okay. So I think there needs to be a lot of testing. That means several weeks of testing, just because there are so many angles that need to be covered, like, for example, testing different volume conditions, testing different conditions with validator, voting on the Oracle prices, testing the USTC Oracle feed, all these things. There are really many conditions and many different variables that are to be tested. So I would reckon it's several weeks after testnet deployment where it needs to be tested until it can go live on mainnet.
I will just add there that this is the market model. Yes, it was open at some point, but it's a long time that it was not open. So of course a lot of testing needs to be done. Like Strat was saying, is a lot of variables. One more thing, I think before mainnet we will have an audit to all of this. So even if something gets missed on the testnet, audit should pick it up. On top of all of this, you have to remember that the market model that we are proposing to open is very small compared to the previous one. So yeah.
Very nice. Thank you, guys. Question number 2. We all know the crash was due to excessive minting and loss of a peg. How will you and your team mitigate these factors to avoid a future death spiral?
Okay, first of all, it really would depend on which of the two options, the mint burn option or the pool option, would be used. Personally, for me, the securer version is just the pool version because it does not involve any minting at all. And the USDC price would not be pegged. It's not about any pegging this kind of market. It's just about having USDC at market value. And that means you don't, if you use the no minting version of the proposal, then you don't have any minting, so you cannot hypermint, you cannot hyperinflate the supply. It's just a pool which is used for whoever wants to use the market module to trade. And if the community or whoever would be more keen on using the mint burn version, then there would need to be implemented very tight restrictions. That means a daily and also a monthly mint limit. And this limit would then depend on the burns of the previous month through the burn tax. That is to safeguard against exactly what you said, against any hyperminting. But of course, the no mint version is safer, it's easier, just because there is no minting involved, and that means there's technically not even the possibility that it could hypermint.
I want to add as well that Demon Hand said about the PEG events and the dead spiral as well. One of the things that was identified on the market model was a couple of errors, a couple of mistakes. Yeah, mistakes, or let's call it decisions. Yeah, and one of the decisions that Duquan did was decrease the recovery pool. So the base pool, it decreased the time. So basically, you could literally mint in less time. Another thing was increased allowance of the whole pool that was able to be minted. Like I think was for $100 million in 18 seconds or so. So that was like that was not very good because it was already falling. And then as soon as the dude did that, the dude and everyone around, of course, the things they went much more sour than before. In this specific situation, either way, with the minting or no minting option, we are not talking about having $100 million in 18 seconds. We will be lucky if we have $100 million in 1 year. You know, maybe in the future, if the chain starts getting pull some more volume, we will get something like that. But not even a chance of that happening at the moment. For now, this is more like a test of a test. So we could start thinking about the future. You know, but like Strat was saying, is no risk or of that happen at all.
Excellent. Very nice. Very nice. Next question. In what way will the activation of the market module benefit the blockchain and its people? What areas will be affected, if any, and what areas will mostly benefit from it, since we are not minting on this new version?
One start.
Yeah, okay. I think what is very important is that it is not an immediate thing about this. It is more like having something to finally start evaluating what can be done with the market module, monitor, check how it is adopted by the people, if it is used at all, if it is accepted, especially because of its history. And by using a very limited scope, you cannot say it would burn tons of coins additionally to what we do right now. No, it would not. We have far too low volume for that. What it is really an adoption test, a tech test that just proves, okay, we can do this in a safe way. We could expand it later with higher limits depending on the circumstances. But right now, you cannot expect that it would burn through the supply or something like that. So there needs to be expectation management on that. It is, if you speak of beneficial in the terms of immediate effect on excessive burns or something like that, I don't think it would have it. It is more a long-term thing. something to finally start doing something with the market module and not letting it sit around because we don't dare to touch it. That's the main purpose. To finally evaluate how we can work with it, what boundaries, making tests, and see how it is adopted without risking the chain going into something like the hyperminting again.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. The one more thing is like everyone knows, the Oracle pool as well is not in the best situations. So if this goes well straight away, one of the things that we're going to start feeling is that we might have more rewards for the delegations as well. But like Stratis was just saying, mate, this is just to test the waters and understand if we can propose a product on layer 1 for the broad community. Because at the moment we don't have anything, you know, and it's like we are just here trying to talk about a chain that one day was dead. Sorry, mate. Can you talking about a chain that was dead at some point? That was, and we always think that we can do more and more and stuff like that, but we never do. And in the end, when we have some kind of investor arriving and asking what the chain does, what is the product of the chain? Yes, we have many stuff, like we are a whole ecosystem, but that main product, you know, that main thing that was making your chain as good as it was before is not there. And if we can indeed activate the market model in a way of 2.0, let's call it, we might start having a way to show that we have a product on layer 1 to share with the broader community.
Very nice. And this is my last question, gentlemen, then I'll pass it on to LL69. So if the proposal passes, can you take us through the next steps with the market module 2.0? Strathcole, you said earlier that it wouldn't be immediate success. It would be sort of like a long-term type thing. But my question also, too, is the next steps, but also if this is successful, if we start to see success with the market module 2.0, are there chances that we make sort of a classic guard 2.0 for the arbitrage, you know, basically monies that would be made from this? Would we ever create kind of like a classic guard 2.0? I know TFL had the Luna Foundation guard before. Would we create our own type of guard? Would there be governance involved in that? Would there be people on like a multi-sig? Any plans for that in the future? And that's it for me, gentlemen. Thank you.
So from my side, I am really not really into those foundations or, like you said, the Luna Foundation guard. That's probably more for people that are in organization and stuff. Regarding the use of funds, that's really something that is far down the line. If you talk about fee generation, for example, it will be very minor in the beginning. And if you think, okay, we will make more from it longer term, then the current idea was just to redirect it half to the Oracle pool and to burns, because still burns are an important part among the community. So yeah, we should account for that. And if there would ever in the future be a situation where really this module would make enough money to that we don't need to redirect that much into the OP, then of course you could think of building some kind of some kind of reserve. But you always have to remember it is chain assets. So if the market module swaps between LUNC and USDC, it generates fees in one of these or both of these assets. That means there is no option of collateral unless you sell those assets. And that again is always a bit problematic in terms of selling the chain's own currency to get something from the outside, especially when you have to do it on the chart. So that is really something that has to be thought of, but in the beginning it will be merely any additional income from that, and the fees that would be generated would be planned to burn and go to the OP to at least have a very short and a bit of refill on that side, and also potentially increase the burns a bit.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add on this. It's literally is no plans to open any kind of foundation. We are years, if you want me to tell you, for us to even think about something like that. For now, I think Strad just said it all. We are just trying to show, or at least test, a product that we are in need, and to offer a product to the whole community. Is it going to save it straight away? Of course not. We'll need more stuff. But for example, you have a Red over here as well that has an amazing plan as well to create one stable coin with a different type of options. You have juries, you have Selenium, you have so many things here that they will work together. So if this is the only thing that going to save the chain, of course not. But this is where we should go, the direction that we should go. But no foundations on the plan.
Thank you so much. That concludes my questions, gentlemen. I'll pass it over to LL69 of Juris.
Thank you, Mr. Diamond. I'm not sure if you can hear me well because I had issues with my connection. Am I lagging?
All good, mate. All good.
Yeah, I read you loud and clear.
All right, then thanks for the invite. Let me start with my questions. My questions are a little bit more general. So we collected some with the team, and I took 4 out of them. And they're directed to Vegas and Streff, so you guys can answer, both of you or whoever feels confident to answer. So my first question is, since we started the space and most people know what the proposals are about, but probably 90% didn't read it. So could you give us just a very tiny TLDR on the proposals and also emphasize on both versions? Like, what's the difference between the no mint and the mint version?
Okay, so that answer will take a slight bit longer just because I need to go back in time a bit. So the way the market module worked was that if you swap one asset to another, then the asset that you send to the market module is burned and the equivalent value of the other token was minted. So that was the mint burn mechanism. And in the past, USDC or UST at that time was fixed at $1. That means you sent $1 worth of USDC, in that time 1, to the market module. That 1 UST was burned, and then $1 worth of LUNC was minted. And that was the mechanics, how it worked back in the time. So the mint version would kind of replicate that, but with the difference that it would no longer treat USDC at a value of $1, but use an oracle price for it like it does for other tokens. That means if USDC is worth 10 cents, then you get 10 cents worth of LUNC if you swap, and no longer worth $1. So that is one of the changes. The second change would be that we would measure the tax burns of the previous month and then limit the overall minting to 80% of that. So that means, assuming that you would burn 100 million LUNC, then in the next month, 80 million could be minted. But if someone again swaps LUNC, then it is burnt again, and another one could mint it again. So there would be 80 million that are available for excess minting, if that makes sense. And the no mint version would just avoid that by redirecting parts of the burn pool, the parts of the burn tax to a separate pool. So instead of later having to remint in the market module, it would just take from that pool. That means the effect is similar or even the same, but you don't have the issue that people see red candles, green candles on the supply when swaps would happen. So it avoids that potential confusion, but uses the same size of pools, the same size, the same parameter values. It would just be that instead of the burning in 1 month and then re-meeting in the next, it would just avoid that and build a small swap pool that it can use when people want to use the market module. While that, of course, kind of deviates from how the market module originally worked, it is just a safeguard to avoid any option of hyperminting, any option of having to make sure that specific limits are met in the minting, and go the safe route at first and avoid it completely.
All right, thank you very much. I don't know if the host allow this, but while Straff was explaining, I got 2 follow-up questions. Am I allowed to throw them in, Mr. Diamond or Rick?
Of course.
All right, so Straff, I have 2 more follow-up questions on the first one.
Sure.
So the first question would be, let's start with the simple one. Did you do projections or compare the efficiency of both versions? I know you did, but can you explain for the space listeners?
So the efficiency is identical. That means it doesn't make a difference in the outcome. It is just about the perception and the technical background of it. Because, as I said, it does not really matter if you have a virtual if you have a mint allowance or you have a pool of the same size that you can take coins from. So it doesn't make a difference in the amounts or the outcome of it. It is just about perception. So if people want the market module to use mint burn no matter what, then it needs to be the mint burn version. If people think, let's go, at least for the start, go the most safe route we can, then the pool is the one to go with, even if it deviates from how the market module originally worked. But it makes no difference in the outcome.
I have nothing to add there, Matt.
I'm sorry, Vigor. Okay, thanks for the answer. And second question would be, or follow-up question basically, would be, you mentioned Oracle price feeds, right? For the market module that you need to isolate so that it takes the current price instead of just assuming $1 as the target.
Yeah.
Right. So my question is, that's actually, I think, towards Straff, but those Vegas can also answer. Regarding Oracle security at DPEG, and I'm not like too deep into the tech as you, but I know that, for example, I think Gadikian also, he raised some flags that during DPEG, the Oracle price feeders of the chain were like attacked, and there was some issues with the price feeds. Do you guys consider this aspect, and do you have like measurements or?
So one thing about that is the Oracle themselves are not really attacked. It is more the chain itself. So if you let's say you attack the chain and make blocks very slow, then that means that Oracle prices are also updating in a slower speed. That means, for example, normally you have a price update every 30 seconds because the block time is around 6 seconds and oracles come each 5 blocks. So let's say someone manages somehow to increase the block time by 3 times. Then that would mean you have 1.5 minutes between new prices. And that is in theory, that is an issue if you have very, very volatile prices, because, of course, if you have a delay, then people can abuse that delay. But on the other hand, that is kind of exactly what the benefit of this would be. As we have no unlimited minting or no unlimited pool for swapping, and we have a price of USDC that is at market value, the only option for arbitrage is the delays and the natural deviations in prices between DE axis, CE axis, and the chain Oracle prices. And that means if you have a delay, then you can use that delay to make a bit of arbitrage in best situations. And so that is not a lot of concern for me. Additionally, we can implement a safeguard like saying if the Oracle price was not updated for XYZ minutes, then block further swappings. Just as a final safeguard to say, okay, if we have 3, 4, 5 minutes and no new prices came in, then something is not right. So don't allow any swapping on the market module. That is an additional safeguard to implement on the Oracle. But the main problem back in the crash was simply that the chain had to keep up with the price change on LUNC, because USDC was always $1 and the spread was enormous. So it's really that much. If you think about it, even if the price was delayed during the crash because the Oracle feeders were too slow, then I don't think it could have that much impact on the overall thing, just because the price was falling. And so the later you went in, the more you got from LUNC if you burned your USDC, because the spread was wider. So the later the price update came, the more expensive LUNC still was compared to the chain. There was an impact of the delayed pricing during the crash, but I don't think it was one of the main contributors of it. Maybe analysts see that differently, then they probably have a lot more knowledge on that. But I don't, in this circumstance that we are in and what we want to try there, I don't see an issue with that.
All right, thanks for answering. If you guys don't mind, I would follow up with the second question that we had prepared. You answered it in parts. I'm sorry, Rick. You opened your mouth.
No, go ahead. The space is yours. No, my bad.
Okay. Okay, so you answered partially, but just to make clear, so for the audience, we want to make sure that everyone understands, how does your current proposal in both versions, I mean, one of the versions is pretty much self-explaining, but the other one, how does it prevent over-minting? Explain to me like I'm 3 years old. Like you do 5, but for Lunc we do 3 years old. Will the proposal burn hundreds of millions?
It's literally it does not allow you to mint because it's like your mom gives you this amount of money, yeah, and you cannot spend more than that because you don't have it. So the two proposals, yeah, they are based on what was burned the previous month. So if we keep burning like 2 billion or 3 billion a month, that's what we can mint or utilize in a pool. So either way, yeah, that's the max. Okay, you can go back and further and create loads of volume with that. But in the end, it's just that amount, that 3 billion. If next month we have like, I don't know, 10 billion that was burned, okay, the next month after that, we can utilize 10 billion, not 13, 10. Okay, so is no way of you over minting anything, because that's the amount that your mom give you to get lunch, nothing else.
Okay, Vegas, thanks for answering.
You want
But
the easier version?
I want to make easier, or maybe easier, but also a little bit more in depth, because I want to assume for the space, just assume I haven't read the prop. I just if I did anything, I read the title and I know there is a mint and a non-mint version.
Okay.
And the mint version scares the fuck out of me, because I remember the DPEG and the death spiral. And my question is, how does the mint version prevent over minting and death spiral and stuff like this? And the follow-up or bonus question is, will it burn 100 billions or trillions of Lunc?
No.
And explain how it is not a slow death spiral. Just how is it not just slowing things down, but like is a different approach? Like explain, like I didn't read the prop, I'm 3 years old, I don't understand anything.
Okay, maybe I just try it with an analogy. Let's talk in sweets. Okay, so first start with the no mint version. So in 1 month you have a contingent of sweets, let's say 100 sweets, and you want to burn, like throw in the recycler. You want to throw in the recycler 50 of them. So you throw them away. You don't throw them away, you set them aside. And in the next month, you have those 50 sweets and can trade them to others and get them back and trade them again. But you only have those 50 in the pool that you set aside from the previous month. So you cannot trade more than these 50 that you have. So, and the mint burn version is like you would throw those 50 in the recycler, and then you have a machine that allows you to produce new sweets. And the machine produces new sweets if you need them, but it has a built-in kill switch that says, oh, I can only produce 50 this month because, yeah, that was what you threw away last month. So the machine will produce 50 sweets, and after that it will shut itself down. And you can still say, okay, but I have just thrown 2 sweets in the recycler again. So the machine says, okay, I can mint 2 of them again, no problem. But after that it says, oh no, we are at the 50 again, so no more sweets for you. And that is kind of the difference. The one just accounts for what was thrown away and allows you to recreate it. And the other one just has a pool, a bunch of sweets that you set aside from the previous month, and that is allowed for you to trade with. And now speaking again in the real terms, it just means the market module is the trader, and it needs funds to trade with. It needs to offer something to the ones that offer it something. So I come with my LUNC and say, here, market module, I give you my LUNC and I want USTC for it. So can you give it to me? And then the market module says, oh, my pool is empty, I cannot give you anything. So you cannot swap. But in the mint burn version, it would just say, okay, let me check how much did I give out already this month and what was burned last month. Am I allowed to offer you something? And if it says, yeah, okay, then it mints to give it to you. If it says, nah, we already reached the limit because we exactly minted that, what we are allowed to, then it just says, no, I cannot give you anything. And that is why the no mint version is safer in that sense, because you go to the market module and say, I want to swap, and the market module can check an existing pool where coins are in. And if that pool is empty, then literally, technically, the chain cannot pull out more of it. So
it's like an OTC pool, basically, kind of.
Yeah. Kind of an OTC pool that the Oracle module, the market module can use to trade. It is an OTC pool, but the market module itself is a virtual AMM, so simply similar to a DEX, how it works internally. And that means while it just takes from that pool, like an OTC, over the counter, like you said, pool, it still has the spread and all that stuff that comes with it, AMM. But yeah, literally that is the difference, and I hope that was kind of easy enough to explain the difference.
I think it was a pretty good explanation, and I've a follow-up question for the sweets analogy. Just to
Yeah.
make clear for the audience, if I start with a Snickers bar, right, and the module turns it into a Twix, I don't know if Americans know Twix, but I think so.
Radar.
Oh yeah, in Germany it's Twix. So once I got my Twix bar, can the module turn it back into a Snickers bar? Like, does it work both ways? Basically, that's the question.
Yeah, it does. But, and that is maybe a good time to mention that, I would really insist on not allowing the rest of the stables. So that means if you have Mars and Snickers, or Snickers and Twix, and maybe have some other bars or sweets like whatever, candy and lollipops, whatever, then those must never be traded on the market module. That is far too unpredictable what is out there and what would happen with that. So it would be strictly limited to those two in real terms of LUNC and USTC, and not the others like EUTC or JPTC and whatever else there is. Just those two.
One question you didn't answer, but that's okay. I will just repeat it. Will it burn 100 billions of Lunc or
No.
like trillions?
No.
Just to be okay.
No, bluntly, no. It is really necessary to manage that expectation. It will not burn through the supply, at least near to midterm. It is not a tool that can do that, because it totally depends on the chain volume, and our chain volume is simply currently too low for that. And the hope is that it helps in increasing that volume. And increasing the volume would also hope everyone else that is involved with volume on chain. But at the current state, I mean, if you take all DEXs, all of them together, we have maybe a bit more than $600,000 of volume that we currently have in a month. So you can imagine you cannot burn tons of that. Just with trading fees. So you would have to get a massive up in the volume on chain. And before that happens, there will not be massive burns. But it is an approach to check adoption, to check if people are willing to allow it. That means to even allow the market module to open, even if it is a no-mint version. And if people will use it, if interfaces will integrate it, because apart from Terra Station, there is currently not really an active thing, I think, that has the market module integrated. Maybe Galaxy Station has still just inactivated it. I don't know.
Yeah, but they said that they will.
Yeah, so that is just a point. People must not expect there are tons of burns. That's not the purpose right now of that.
All right. I think the answer was clear. I didn't want to fud it, by the way. I just wanted to, like you said.
No, that's very
set the
important.
expectations.
That's very important.
Okay, so I have 1.5 questions left. If that's okay, Rick.
Like I said, the floor is yours, man.
All right. So basically, you guys explained the mint and burn, which now we come to the elephant in the room, like our friends at Binance. I don't want to fart again. Like, I was one of the guys who voted yes for the previous let's remint some of the tokens we burned proposal, and we got burnt ourselves, as you all know. Was a mistake, in my opinion, like in hindsight. And my question is, it's basically the 1.5 questions. Let me just ask it together. Have you guys talked to Binance in particular and other stakeholders regarding their, let's call it marketing or whatever support they give in burning their Lunc trading fees? And a follow-up question on this would be, how does this market module 2.0 proposal, which seems to be not directly a repack proposal, but rather something to emergency fund Oracle pool and the chain, I think, and maybe get some things going. How does it align with the overall vision that also Vegas has, like for the Lunc chain? And does reopening the market module basically open up some risk in, and I'm I'm wondering why I'm saying this, but and not somebody else on the space, but does it open us up to some issues in regards of like the stablecoin regulations and stuff? Because we basically disabled the mint and burn feature, and we could claim, okay, it's basically not an algo stable anymore, and if we re-enable it and market it like this, would it possibly cause issues?
I mean, it would not be at $1.
Exactly. We are not guaranteeing anything. We are not guaranteeing a stable price. We are not. We have a stable coin.
No, you're right. We're not. But the thing is, what we are doing is we are technically re-enabling the mechanism that used to promote it as an algo stable, if that makes sense. So I'm just asking.
But the situation here is that we are enabling the mechanism with a lot of changes. So if you go by the second one, the one with no minting at all, so it's literally just a pool that you pick up tokens from there and then send it back, whatever. So that's basically like a DEX. Yeah. So, but integrated on the chain. The other version, the original version with the minting, that is going more close to the original vision of the market model. But that being said, the main purpose is not to to create a stable coin. We know that, yeah. At least for now, we have no intentions of even stating that, because yeah, we can't do it. If we could do it, yeah, okay, let's fight regulations. Let's see what we can do regarding this. But is nothing that we can do at the moment. Is you and me, we don't have $6 billion to put there to stabilize the coin to this effort. So is at the moment is not even a possibility. And regarding the situation of Binance stopping the burns for this situation, from previous conversations that I got with our post-listing team and the technical team, they do not care too much with what we are doing regarding the chain itself. They care about if their tokens are being minted or bringing from the dead again. So imagine you give some money, and that money is supposed to help in deflating, yeah, and then it gets minted again. So that's not the case. On the 0.12 or something like that, it states that this, at least the idea that we are trying to bring to the community, is literally just not to allow for the volunteer contributions for the burn address to be counted as well. So literally will be just the burn fee tax that we have in place at the moment, nothing else. And that is something that we have on the chain, and is no one can say anything. We are a sovereign chain, so yeah. Regarding that, Binance itself is whitelisted for their trades inside of their own circle, so they are not directly affected by any of this. So yeah, from previous conversations that I got with these dudes, they just want us to move and to do stuff. If it doesn't affect them directly, if we are not minting coins that they burn, yeah, they are okay with everything that we do. They just want us to do stuff, you know. Yeah. And this, I think, is one of the best things that we can do at the moment. Again, like Strat was just saying, is not going to burn 100 billion in the first couple of months. Maybe it never will. We never know. But if we don't try, we will never know as well.
Yeah, and from my side, I think that question touches an important part that was not mentioned, and Vigas just mentioned it, that this pool, either in the no mint version, the real pool, or the mint allowance in the mint burn version, they would not include voluntary burns. So everyone that sends to the Angsu wallet would not be included in that calculation. So it would solely be from the tax. And that is maybe an important point. So people that voluntarily contribute to the burn don't think their coins will be used for market module trading. And regarding the other question about the stable, what you said about the algo stable, yeah, the market module was meant to stabilize the price, and it could only do that because USDC was fixed at $1, and we not only not fix it to $1, we would also not fix it to any value. It would be a floating value. So there is absolutely no pegging mechanism, defending mechanism, or anything like that. And what was advertised and what was meant to hold the peg, and nothing of that would remain.
All right. Thanks for the answers. I think one thing was not mentioned. That maybe goes for Vegas. Like, I know that you are a big fan of USDC repeg, like myself. I used to be a little bit more optimistic about the repeg possibilities and how fast we can get there and if we can get there, but that's for another space. For this space, I want to know, since this market module 2.0 is not a direct repeg effort, can you explain how it would align with your future vision for Lunc and the USDC stuff? Like, that's towards Vegas. And that's the last question I have. And then I give the mic directly to the host.
That's good. Yeah, so yes, I'm a maxi self of the repeg, but like I just said here, almost screaming, we don't have 6 billion at the moment, so it's like it's close to impossible to even attempt anything like that. And now on top of all of that, we have all of the regulations that if we even attempt anything like that, then it's going to be another battle. How does this go against my plans? My plans is for reviving this chain, just like you, just like Strat, just like the Manhands, like I think everyone here. So everything that I believe that could work, I will give it a chance. Of course, like you guys were stating on the beginning, was one of the first questions, and I'm really happy regarding what type of tests are going to be done, what's the scope, what all of that. Yeah, we are paying a lot of attention. We understand the mistakes that were done in the past, and we learn a lot. All of us, not just me and Strat, all of us here understand a lot of what was done in the past that was a mistake. This regarding the chain and the market model itself. I think all of this falls in constructing a better future for the chain. Yes, it will be better if we have a repeg with no regulations and we have our old stable coin working, pegged to $1. But at the moment, we know that that's not going to happen, at least in the near future. But like I was just saying, yeah, if we have a market model that can test, and for that, I believe that the minting version will be slightly better because it allows us to scale it a tiny bit easier. But the other one as well, I believe that Strat will find a way to scale the version in a way that we can test even further if the opportunity appears to us. It might be a complete fail and it does nothing, and we just lost a tiny bit of time with this, but that's it. It's not the risk is that we lost time. Let's move on. Let's try something new. But yeah, the market model is a product. We are offering a product. With this we could increase volumes on the chain. We could allow for other people to talk about that. So it could be opening a door to a marketing exercise that we don't have for the last 2 years. Like on the beginning, we have that massive flag that we have that was the burning. Yeah. Today we're still carrying that flag, but the flag is slightly smaller, we today we understand that not one thing that can save the whole chain. It has to be many things like working together. For example, and Strat is not involved on this part here. I have an idea for the USDC staking system, and my view, and it works with the market model as well. All of this together, in my view, yeah, it will increase volume on the chain. It will increase price NFA of USDC. With that, we can increase the rewards, or at least the face value dollar rewards of the delegators on the two sides. Yeah, with this we could take coins from circulation supply. With this, increasing again the volume of the chain and allowing for the market model to have better tools to work. So it's like the snowball is all there. On top of that, we have all of these layer 2 projects that are again increasing the volume on chain. You just know where I'm going with this, yeah. So that all of it is connected. So yeah, it doesn't affect. It's just a different view that at the moment is the best thing that we can try. I have a couple of other conversations with some other levels of people that we want to try something different. And indeed, it's good opinions rising there, some good ideas rising there, but they will not be liked by everyone. That's the reality. I think at the moment, we as a community that we know this project for the last 3 years at least, yeah, we know what we need. We are just scared of trying new things. We are scared of changing fundamentals. And I think the time is now. I think we are tired just of talking and just doing nothing. And going straight to the bull and pick up the market model and let's make it work and let's test it and let's see if one day we can scale the market model even further. Maybe in the future we could start burning a couple of coins. Maybe in the future we can increase the prices of the coin. Maybe in the future we can increase the on-chain. So, but we will never do any of that if we just wait for Binance to save us, So for everyone here, Binance, somehow they like us, but it's like I think I already said this in another space. It's like mom and dad, they like us, but they are not going to do the examination for us. They are not going to pass our physics or maths test. We have to be the ones doing that. We have to be, we have to be the ones studying. We have to be the ones finding the solutions, and we have to be the ones passing that test. Same with this whole space. Binance is not going to do anything for us. It's going to support us, yeah, but we have to be the ones, yeah, finding the solutions. And I believe that this solution that is being presented here today is one good step in the right direction to show to the outside community that we are open to change and we are open to change our own destiny by improving the whole chain. But yeah, okay, that's it.
Very passionate answer, Vegas. So thanks for answering the questions, Trev and Vegas. Thanks, Luna Classic, DAO, Rick, Mr. Diamond Hands, for allowing me to ask. And I want to say one last thing. After the space, whenever it ends, Rexy and I at some point are going to host an open space afterwards. So if you want to come up and discuss or talk about anything else, feel free. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Leaves, the floor is yours.
Hey, thank you so much. And I appreciate, thank you, first of all, as I know you saved the most handsome for last. So I want to thank everybody else on stage, Mr. Diamond Hands, Lunc Lover 69, Strath Cole Vegas. You guys are really, you're an inspiration to a lot of people in this room right now. So thank you for that. I'm going to ask questions. I think like Lunc Lover 69 said, like a 3-year-old, because I'm just the handsome face of this organization. I'm not the brains of it. So my questions are probably going to be somewhere you're just going to be like, duh. But number one, how will the new market module, or how will the market module handle the potential? And the reason I bring this up is because Redline Drifter has been speaking about this openly for the last little while. The potential USTD stablecoin, and would that create a trio of coins between Lunc, USTC, and USTD, so that people who are trading would have a stable coin so that they're more effective and better equipped to do that in the market module?
Okay, start. You can go, man.
You can too. I mean, it really depends on the plans with that. The market module can handle everything that is a native token to the chain. That means as long as it is not a contract token, a CW20, it can deal with it. So if the community later would want to add another token, triangle trading option or similar like that, that technically would be possible and not that hard, just because it was designed to allow 21 tokens in the beginning. So I cannot say much about that because although I know what Redline has in mind roughly, I don't know the plans about interacting with level 1 native tokens, the two mains on chain. So that's more a question for Redline, I think.
I think you just said you can just say that as well. That is one more tool that Red can use for the stablecoin that is designing. So in the end, I think it's not something that goes against his plan. I think it might help even more this plan. So it's a tool. I think at least it's my view.
All right, awesome. So the second question is still on kind of the same category of people trading, but it goes back to burns. Now, you did say that the market module, probably because of the low trade volume, I think it's ranging around 10 million a day. And I want to say between 6 and 8 million on USTC on good days. But if we find that the burns are not enough, can we monitor this and put out proposals to increase the level of burns on the chain? And before answering, just again, consider the fact that, you know, the primary that I know that burning the supply is not really a primary motivator of a growing ecosystem, but for a lot of investors that are sitting here right now, that burn and that lowering of supply is still an important goal for them. So is there an opportunity to raise the amount, the significance per transaction, or whatever it may be, that we can look at it and build from there?
It's regarding the tax itself. I think raising the tax, it will go against what we are trying to do over here. It's like creating volume on the chain, creating a product. Maybe one day we can propose something completely different. Yeah. So instead of the funds coming from a burn tax, maybe one day we can get rid of a burn tax. And with that, we can have a whole product, yeah, based on a market model and all of other stuff. But you know what I mean? It's like everyone can just arrive and just decide to, okay, let's increase again to the 1.2%. But that's not the goal. It's like we want to increase the market model allowance organically by increasing the on-chain volume as well. Not because we are increasing the tax on the chain, because that might have the opposite reaction, of course. Sorry, Strat, sorry.
No, that was similar to what I wanted to say. The burns on chain depend on volume. And that means if you have higher volume, you get higher burns, or you need to increase the tax. But I think higher taxes also could lead to even more reduction in volume. And that would, have the contrary effect. So getting up the volume is kind of the primary goal and would benefit everyone, even those that focus on the burn and say that should be the main goal. Volume is the core of everything. And also to say, I mean, L2, we're talking mainly about the market module, which is L1. It's the core. It is in the core of the chain. But what attracts volume is also projects on the chain that brings in people from the outside that need to buy LUNC and get it on chain to use those projects. And so there are still many projects in the works. So I guess all of that can contribute to higher volume, and higher volume is what we need. And I think it's the most important thing that we need, higher on-chain volume. And with that come higher burns, even with the same tax we have now. And if the volume would go a 10x, then of course you would have a 10x in burns if you have the same tax.
Perfect. I think the important thing is if people are incentivized to be on this chain, then you will see, or in my opinion, you're going to see an increase, especially as we get into this altcoin season, which seems like we're kind of on the cusp of it right now. So it does create an opportunity for that to happen. The next question, which I think you guys kind of answered before, was, and I now I feel like I need to rephrase it a little bit, but the CW20 contract, will the market maker be limited to USTC and Luna Classic, or could you, and you already said easily, USDT could, if they decided it was going to be part of it, it could be included. But what about Juris? What about Garuda? What about Terra? What about some of these other ecosystems that are growing out here? Are they allowed, or could they be able to, or would they be able to participate, again, to bring more action on chain versus off?
But not in the market module. The market module specifically is meant to work with native tokens, and native tokens are really those that are created directly in the bank module. So what is possible, what people have to, what might sound a bit strange, but IBC tokens are native tokens, because they are minted directly on chain and not in a WASM contract. So in theory, the market module could quite easily deal with IBC tokens like USDC or similar. It could deal with those just because they are on chain natively. The issue is that with the mint burn mechanism, that would be hardly possible, because it is a bit, you cannot just mint those out of thin air, because at some point you would exceed the collateral on the other chain. So for example, let's talk about USDC. Let's say someone or everyone together bridged 1 million USDC to Luna Classic, and we decide to mint another 1 million, then only half of the people that have those coins could bridge back to the original chain. So that would be really a bad idea. But if you have a pool that could be used, of course, you could have an IBC token in it to swap back and forth, because it is native. But my personal opinion is, don't interfere with WASM contracts on the L1 level when it comes to things like the market module rewards or similar, just because WASM, so contracts on chain, are a totally different thing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to add one more thing. Is CW20 tokens on the market model. Imagine that you have a contract, yeah, and then you just keep minting them, and then you just keep emptying the pool. So yeah, so that's for the market model, at least for now, that's completely out of the question. CW20 tokens is like, no, it could be easily manipulated. So I think what Strat is trying to say here as well is regarding other even other native coins, yeah, we have to be careful. We have to whitelist things as they go, not whitelist everything at once. For now, is Lunc, USDC, Lunc, and that's our main goal, to understand if everything works properly. And maybe in the future, if Red does a proposal to utilize the market model, then the community decides if it can utilize or not as a native coin, of course, if it goes on that direction. But all of the coins that should go to the market model should be whitelisted by the community, because the risk is really, really big on that situation. It's like, it's already difficult to understand the whole dynamics of these two coins alone. Imagine the whole other ones that could join the market model. So, yeah.
All right, I appreciate that. So, and by the way, just so you guys, I what I'm trying to do is for again from the 3-year-old perspective, just trying to say, I'm shooting in the dark here, saying like, what is the next step? What is the next step? What is the next step? In the layman version, I'm not a developer like some of you genius gentlemen are. Final question would be, what are the governance and oversight mechanisms intended to be for the market module to ensure community trust? And will everything be done through that?
Well, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, every deployment that comes to mainnet has to go through governance. So if governance decides the tests have not been sufficient on testnet, if governance decides the implementation is not good or the test results are not promising, yeah, they can refuse to have it on mainnet. Second, all the parameters, like for example the fee for trading, which is normally defaulting at 0.35, could be decided, or the amount of the burn tax that goes to the trading pool for each month. All these things are decided and set by governance. So there is no single entity, no committee or similar that would decide on changes of those things. It's all going through governance.
Perfect. I think a lot of people are by the way, we get conspiracy minded when we see what happened before. So I think everybody sometimes wants to know and be reminded that, hey, there's only certain things that can be done, and everything else would require governance for any kind of changes. So that's my final question. So thank you so much, you guys.
Yeah, I want to thank you. I want to add something here that is not directly related, but it's quite important. Every upgrade on chain, no matter if it is a security upgrade, no matter if it introduces new features, no matter if it is an SDK upgrade, every of those updates need to go through governance, and validators need to be sure, okay, if I vote yes for this to be implemented and this goes live, then it has to be correct, secure, and as bug-free as possible. And that is one of the important decisions that validators have to make to assess if they consider an upgrade that is pending as secure and good for the chain. And it will be no different with this.
Awesome. So with that, I yield my time. Thank you, guys.
Sounds good. Now, the best part of the day. We're going to ask the community. So whoever wants to ask a question, either for Strathpool or Vegas, or either at the host, now is the time to do so. So raise your hand. I'll be more than happy to bring you up, and you guys can speak. I love it when we always do the spaces. Like, very few people want to ask questions after. Any other host has anything else that you guys want to ask Strathpool or Vegas?
One other question that I had, guys, that somebody DM'd me really quickly, and I thought it was a good question. To the severity of what we're talking about with creating a new market module and the stakes being so high, when it comes to testing, I know we're testing on testnet and doing audits, which is fantastic. Have we considered also, if need be, to bring more confidence to testing? Tried to do some sort of canary chain deployment to where we're using real funds, even if we made a prop to say we're going to take a low amount from the community pool or whatever, actually using real funds on a canary chain to also test and to provide results and data for the community. Have we considered that?
No. I think it's if it works on very well on testnet, yeah, it's
I don't see why we will have any problems. You just have to remember that this situation is limited to whatever you burn in the previous month. Not all of it, to be fair, but just a small part. But even if something goes horribly wrong and you find some kind of exploit that was not detected on the previous tests, you will get away with a couple of bucks. That's it, you know. So, but all the tests are. If you have some kind of test with that can be included, that's amazing. To be fair, at the moment, one of the things that is more stress is that, and I speak with myself as well. Well, not all of us are running validators on the test nets. I know that it's very hard for the ones that do the white label stuff, but I'm just lazy. I should be running a testnet validator as well, and all of us that are running projects like in CW20 tokens, whatever. Yeah, everyone that is running projects, we should be less lazy and utilize the testnet a tiny bit more, because it's a massive tool that we can test things before they go live. And with that, we can understand if it's any problem that will be associated directly with our projects, or identifying something on the chain. So if testnet tests are done properly, on this specific market model, I don't see how it could be exploited in a way that someone could mint or take out from the pool a couple of bucks. But this is just my view. If the community decides that more tests need to be done, mate, again, this is in the hands of the community, not one specific element.
But also to answer to the to the chain idea, you have to always keep in mind that the main factor that is hard to test is the dynamics with CEXs, and such a chain would not have support on CEXs, so it would do not really much, considering even if it's real money, if it's real tokens on there, you could not really interact in the way that you could on mainnet. So the benefit over the testnet doesn't seem that high, especially compared to what would be necessary and what would be need to put in there and in terms of money. And yeah, and you would also have to find people that actually use it, because that chain would not have the DEXs like Terraport and Garuda. They would not have the option of deposit and withdrawal with Binance, with MEXC. So I don't see how that could be a real test that would be beneficial in a way.
Okay, perfect. We got the first question in hand. As Dust Traders, make sure to have the proper time to make your question. You may go ahead and do so. Dust Traders, do you hear me?
Sorry. Hi, guys. Good evening, Tom.
Hello, sir.
So my question is, will you guys be voting by yourself when you bring your proposal up?
Sorry, can you say that again, please, mate?
Sure. Will you be voting on your proposal?
I will most likely, if you mean it now on the market module thing, I will likely abstain, because I normally abstain with those things, especially if I am involved in development or similar stuff.
But I don't know yet, but at the time I'm pretty sure I will vote yes, because I truly believe that this is a good option. We are proposing this for the chain, not anything being win directly with this. All of us are going to win. So I don't see why I will not vote yes on the proposal that we are proposing ourselves. I respect the way that Strat deals with his own governance side, and my own view. I think this will be good for the chain, yeah, and I will take responsibility on that case by voting yes as well.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for your question, Dust Traders. Now we got Lunc Strategies. Lunc Strategies, may go ahead and do your question. Do you hear me, Lunc strategist?
He shows as listener for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you may have to leave the space and come back and try again. Sometimes you have to do that with spaces of this magnitude.
Yeah, it seems like it. Let me bring up Rexy's. Rexy's, let me know when you're ready. Rexy's, you're up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, cool. It's I think space has been playing up again today. Well, for a start, thank you to all of you for coming onto this kind of spaces and setting it up, and I think it's a great thing for the community. I just wanted to clarify something with Vegas, which is kind of just expanding on a question that was previously asked. Very mindful of something that LL69 said, I think during his question, which was during a previous proposal, the chain voted for a certain amount of Lunc that was burned by Binance to be able to be reminted. I was one of those that actually voted against that. However, the votes, passed, which that's what governance is all about. And of course, as it turned out, Binance cut the amount that they burnt by half because of that. So I just wanted some kind of clarity, rather than us making assumptions that Binance might not be bothered or they might just like it. Have we actually spoken to them on this specific subject to say, if we was to implement this proposal, what would your response be? And exactly about this particular subject.
Sorry, Matt, I'm just trying to find a space that I can speak. Okay, so first of all, when that proposal was done, I know that everyone just tries to pin on me or whatever. I never did a proposal to mint the stuff. And that's
I'm not suggesting
I know.
that,
It's not, I'm not against your question. It's absolutely perfect, because indeed, it's not that we need the burns of Binance every month. Yeah, I know that people are understanding that now, but it's good for us to have it. So I will not do anything that will compromise that situation. And regarding the market model itself, yes, we spoke with them. And we spoke a long time ago regarding this. What we want now from the community is to understand if they want the version number 1, the version number 2, on any. Okay, or if they want something completely different from what we are just proposing over here. But as soon as we have the proposal number 1, okay, this is the proposal number 1. This is what is being officially voted on. Then we got another meeting with the dudes and explain this is what we are going to implement. At a later stage. You understand what I mean? So they were. I spoke directly with them regarding this situation, but I don't have anything concrete to present to them regarding a proposal, because even today, we are still trying to understand if we're going to propose proposal number 1 or proposal number 2. So
okay, that's
nothing that
However,
you know what I mean.
I think,
but yes, I spoke with them regarding this topic. Yes.
Okay, so
like I said, they just want us to do stuff, just want us to move, So
So in terms of this,
Sorry.
So in terms of this specific proposal, or the specific proposal that will be submitted, then the answer is that you haven't spoken to them specifically on this proposal, because we've not decided exactly what would be submitted yet, and therefore, because it's been a fair amount of time since you spoke to them last, they may have had time to reflect and maybe change their mind. So I guess where I'm coming from is I'd prefer to have more conversations than less, and have an up-to-date conversation with them with whichever proposal is decided to be submitted to governments. Before it's submitted, say, okay, I'd just like to have a heads up. What would Binance's response be should we submit this for governance proposal and it's accepted?
Yeah, fair enough, Matt. I'll do that. Don't worry.
Better safe than sorry, I always think.
Sounds good. All right, Rexy, thank you so much for your time. I'll bring up now Lunc strategist.
Hello.
There you go, Lunc strategist. You have the floor.
Oh, great. Yeah, so very interesting. Great to hear we're making some progress, hopefully. But I just had one question. Really, was around. I'm always trying to think a few steps ahead of where we're going with this stuff. So, I mean, I know the initial version would be very benign and simple and not do a lot of things. But over time, I imagine there'd be governance votes where we start doing things to maybe set target prices for USTC, and all of a sudden maybe those prices go higher and higher. And I mean, whoever understands the market module is in a position to make a enormous amount of money off of the arbitrage. So I was just wondering, what's the plan? I think there was a mention earlier of a 50-50 split between whoever participated and where it would go. But I think maybe we should think about as a community in terms of how much of that profit that is going to be made on repegging, even though I know that's maybe not the word we want to use, but maybe getting to a target price of $1, which may or may not be a peg. If we're going to go there and make enormous amounts of profit for whoever does the arbitrage, should that arbitrage profit not go into a collateral pool, which is going to back the ecosystem? That's my question.
That's a good question, Matt. Thank you for that. I think we are. Is so many things on the table here. Yes, indeed, that could be a direction. Yeah, if the community agrees with that, if the community proposes something like that. At the moment, we are literally just testing the waters, and if it works, then we can go further. If we're going to start talking about the whole plan of what we are proposing, what I mean is, if you're going to start complicating stuff, it might be that people start to some kind of narrative. One time, PCF, he told me something very important. I proposed something, I don't remember what it was, but it was two things in one. And he said, next time propose one thing, and then after that you propose another, because this way I might like this and I might not like the other thing, and you're always going to have a more percentage of votings, negative votings. That's same for the sentiment of the community. If we start complicating too much what we want to do with all of this, we might have a negative impact with all of this. For now, it's a simplistic market model, yeah, that will work on the burns of the previous month. Simple as that. Yes, it's a lot of options that can be utilized. Yes, it's a lot of decisions that we will have to do in the future, and that is going to be one of them for sure. I don't know if Strat wants to add something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if people don't think about that, or if they are fully aware of that. You cannot easily build collateral with fees or earnings from, let's say, arbitrage between USTC and the LUNC, just because those funds are the funds of our chain. So you would need to sell them again to get some other collateral, because you cannot collateralize LUNC with USTC and vice versa to stabilize something on this chain, because if the chain would go down, then both of those likely would. So you would need something from the outside. And as we have seen with the proposals of USDC, there needs to be someone that deals with the selling, swapping, bringing to chain, and all that stuff. So that is really something that is a lot more complicated, and that is something like we did with the USDC. Also, the community pool could be used for. And if at some point in the future you would say, okay, those earnings from the market module are enough for the OP, we don't need everything there, or we want to burn less or whatever, then you could redirect a portion of it to the CP and see whatever you want to do with that later from there. But regarding the arbitrage income from it, that's I have to be honest, that's beyond my scope of knowledge, how you would best make the arbitrage income on the chain itself, especially when it comes to CEX interaction. That's beyond what I know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's an assumption in there that as prices go higher in USDC, prices go higher on other tokens in the ecosystem. I think there will be more confidence coming in, so then you could see money flowing in from the broader, crypto market. And I just think it's just important that we all are kind of aligned in terms of the spirit of what we're trying to do, and that if and when that happens, we try to make sure that as much as possible of those profits stay within the ecosystem and stay within collateralizing the stable coins, because if those profits leak out to third parties or other people who are just better versed on how this thing is working, it would be a real shame, I think. And it would be obviously, maybe this is, we only get really one chance at trying to repeg this ecosystem. So want to make sure that we don't have value leaking out of the ecosystem when doing so.
I think I get what you say. The question or counter question kind of is if these potential arbitrage opportunities for third parties wouldn't be something that could bring additional volume to the chain and would be worth that part of of kind of losing the arbitrage for the chain itself. Because I could imagine not having a central entity running anything that does the arbitrage for the chain. How would the chain itself do it? You would need someone or some kind of entity that commits to saying, I do the arbitrage trading, and everything that comes from it flows directly to whatever pool on chain.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be 100% that flows back into the ecosystem, but I think it should also not be 100% that flows out of the ecosystem.
Yeah,
so we just have to find the right balance. Yeah.
It's just a question how, right? Because for arbitrage trading, you need, especially when it comes to CEXs, you need something from outside the chain that is not running on chain itself. And as we don't have a central entity like TFL or similar, you need someone to do that. You cannot let the chain do that. The chain does not have a CEX account. The chain does not have a CEX API account that it could trade with back and forth and similar. So that is really quite a big discussion that would need to be held, how you could achieve that to have some kind of chain benefiting arbitrage, maybe even in other places or with other tokens. But speaking of collateral, if at one point in the future the market module or whatever similar mechanism would allow trading with IBC tokens like USDC, I would be all for putting some of those funds that come from trading fees to some kind of pool that could be utilized later. Like, for example, if you would allow USDC and get USDC as the chain, as trading fees, I wouldn't put that in the OP or burn it. Just put it to a pool.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect. Now we're going to bring up, we got Lunc Market. Lunc Market, let me know when you're live. And Lunc Market seems you're a speaker. You can now ask your question.
Hello, guys. I came a bit late for the party, but a great job you guys are doing. I love it. A quick question about the testing, because I'm commissioning engineer, so I like testing. And is there any way, for example, to invite the CEXs to do the testing together, and they simulate like a volume or something that happens on the normal daily basis? Would be great, I think, if someone can answer that.
I think the thing is, we could do that ourselves. We could invite them, I don't see why would they come. Because at the moment, what you have to understand is that we are not that big chain that we used to be. So some of them, they don't lose a lot of time with us anymore. They are there, but just for simple things. I don't know. It's like if we know the volume of this specific sex or that specific application, we could simulate all of that, on the testnet. So I don't see, maybe strategy and something like I don't know why will they be beneficial on the at least on the situation of testnet to be involved in.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, as long as you know or can check the inflow and outflow of CEXs and maybe even look back in time how the inflow and outflow from chain was pre-crash, for example, you can simulate it because the market module is fully on chain. So CEXs couldn't do anything that we couldn't do ourselves on chain. When it would come to some interaction with CEXs, but apart from deposit and withdrawal, there wouldn't be any. So everything happens on chain. So all testing and simulation would need to come from simulations on chain, with making assumptions about volumes, making assumptions about off-chain prices, and simulating all those different circumstances. Like, for example, simulating the price dropping from 406 to 404, and then jumping to 301 in maybe 2 hours. Simulate just extreme circumstances on chain, but that's all on chain, and I personally don't see where CEXs could contribute in a way that they would be willing to spend their time on something that we want to implement.
Yeah. That being said, mate, big hug for Brazil. Okay.
All right. It seems that was it for him. Let's see one more person and then we'll get out of here, guys. Just bear with me. We got here for a while. We got Cyberhawk. Cyberhawk, just let me know when you're in. Cyberhawk, you're your speaker. You may ask your question.
Hello everyone. First of all, it's glad to hear you again and be with you. I've been off the social media for a while, so it's glad to be back with you. Regarding the question, I have sort of a proposal idea, but at the moment I've got too many things and I don't really have time. So if you guys like the idea, maybe you could pursue it. So basically, it's the proposal idea of enabling one-way swap between USTC and Luna Classic, and it would be in a way that the app is made that burns users USTC when a user swaps it, and the Luna Classic equivalent to that is given to the user from the community pool. So Luna Classic is not minted in the way, and USTC is burned. And when the USTC reaches the point where it can be repegged, then two-way swap is enabled by the app, and when a user swaps USTC to Luna Classic, USTC gets burned and Luna Classic gets sent to the user from the community pool. But when user swaps Luna Classic to USDC, Luna Classic gets burned and USDC gets minted. So it's a two-stage proposal, and on the first stage, Luna Classic is not minted, just USDC gets burned, and second stage, USDC gets burned and minted to keep the peg, and Luna Classic gets burned, but not minted. That was my proposal. I also want, you guys' expertise, because that's why I'm asking it, because I want your expertise too, because I might have missed something crucial that could be problematic with this plan.
Okay, so I don't know if Strat wants to add something. I will be very quick. First, the community pool has limitations. Second, we are literally talking about a whole swapping mechanism for the USDC and Lunc. And third, I think your idea is slightly complex and high level to be presented on a space like this, because I think you have a better space like the forum, so you can explain the whole idea, so people can study it and maybe see some flaws or some benefits for the chain. All ideas are beneficial for the chain. Everyone can bring their ideas, and I think the forum is the best place for us to start drafting some of the ideas. That sometimes they look some kind of weird, sometimes they look some kind of strange, but with all effort of different types of brains, sometimes it is born something really cool. So my advice is just go to the forum and do a structure proposal to explain to the community what's your idea in the end, because I think it's slightly complex for us to understand here on the space. But thank you so much for your contribution.
All right, thank you so much, Vegas, for that. And guys, this is it. This is a time that we have been waiting for, our closing statement. So, Leaves, we may start with you, then Juris, and finally, Mr. Diamond Hands. You may go ahead, sirs.
First of all, thank you so much to Vegas and Strathcole and to everybody else for having me out here, inviting me on. As some of you might know, some of you may not watch me, some of you might watch me. Every day I cover Terra Luna Classic and what is going on in the ecosystem, and we deep dive sometimes, we don't deep dive sometimes. We try to make sure that you know exactly what you need to know for the day. Also, if you happen to be a validator that I have at some point offended because I don't agree with you, my bad, I didn't mean that. Also, I meant that. Thanks to everybody here for having me on. I appreciate it. I hope we have a lot more to go. And if you haven't already, you can follow me every Monday through Friday, every day of the week at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. I release a new Terra Luna Classic video, and I am partnered with Terra Casino to provide you with that, and Terraport. So if you guys are interested, come check me out. If you're not, then I will see you in another spaces pretty soon. Thanks.
All right, LL, now it's your turn.
I just want to say thanks to Luna Classic Network, DAO, and Rick, Mr. Diamond Hands for hosting, and to Vegas and Steph for answering the questions, to everyone who joined. And thanks, Beef, as well. Almost forgot you, mate. I'm sorry. And once the space is over, I will start the other space, and if you guys want to talk further, just feel free to join. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. It was our pleasure as always. And Mr. Diamond Hands, take us home.
Absolutely. Just want to thank everybody on the panel for joining us this afternoon. Folks, make sure that you like this space, repost it, comment it, let people know that there's life here. There's life here for LUNC. So for the big accounts that say this is a dead chain and nothing's going on, it should be a very large reminder that there is stuff going on. Spaces are still being held. Proposals are still being passed, right? Lunc is still listed, being burned monthly, and now here we are talking about USTC. So there's very much life here.
What are you willing to sacrifice, and what are you willing to give up to find every bit of who you are as a human being?
Don't let what you are stop you from being what you could be.
List all the things that you aren't willing to give up for the dreams that you have, and that is what the person who will beat you is willing to give up.
Hey, guess what? It's going to be the hardest thing you ever did. To be able at any moment to sacrifice what you are for what you will become.
I can describe this in one word, all about sacrifice.
Anything in your life, you better believe one of the ingredients gonna be sacrifice.
To get anything of value, you have to sacrifice.
This is dreams we're talking about. We're talking about dreams.
It will cost you everything.
You want to be great? You need to sacrifice. And the more painful the sacrifice, the greater you'll be.
Accept that all of your heroes are full of it. Your heroes aren't gods, they're just regular people who got particularly good at one thing by sacrificing literally everything else.
Dreams require sacrifices.
What are you willing to forgo?
You think you have a limit. As soon as you touch this limit, something happens and you suddenly can go a little bit further. With your mind power, your determination, your instinct, and the experience as well, you can fly very high.
stars. Terra Classic begins its journey with purpose. This isn't just crypto. It's a global movement. At TerraClassic.money, your path begins. With true DeFi power, staking, governance, and control, builders create freely in a permissionless world. Secure your stake. Earn and fortify the chain. Lead the change by voting and proposing. From ruins we rise, stronger than ever. Join us. Terra Classic is your future.
Week, the latest and largest failure to date in the crypto space transpired.
One of the most promising crypto projects collapsed.
It's called Luna, which is theoretically backed by a controversial stablecoin named Terra.
YouTuber KSI lost $2.8 million.
More than $40 billion in wealth, a large part of it from retail investors, was gone.
Luna has gone from $80 a token to less than $1.
Luna went down from an all-time high of $119 to virtually zero.
Why do we force? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up.
I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career.
You're not going to score on every shot. Doesn't mean you shouldn't take the shots. Doesn't mean you shouldn't try to hit the goal.
Ever tried? Ever failed?
Like everyone else, you want to learn the way to win, but never to accept the way to lose.
I'm gonna fail.
And you're gonna fail.
I'm gonna fail.
And you're gonna fail.
I'm gonna fail.
And you're gonna fail.
And I will succeed.
And then you're gonna win.
26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed.
If you want to give up, you can give up. This is your choice.
I've failed over and over and over again in my life.
Now, the only place to go from failure...
And that is why I succeed.
...is to win.
You can't go back. Once you started this damn journey, you can only go forward.
Try again. Fail again. Fail better.
What if I can become someone that no one thinks I can be?
The hardest choices require the strongest wills.
My brain, you cannot process failure. You're a failure? That's almost worse than death.
Welcome to Luncverse, a next-gen metaverse experience, powered by Web3 infrastructure and engineered by Antier. When blockchain innovation meets metaverse mastery, a new era begins. Explore over 40 interactive zones, banking, gaming, residential hubs, learning centers, and social arenas, all navigable via a dynamic metaverse map. Luncverse provides the foundation. Antier engineers the experience. Together, we build the future of digital civilization. Seamless onboarding, AI-powered services, voice interaction, real-time customization, designed for immersive, secure, and intelligent interaction. The metaverse economy is accelerating, and Luncverse is leading the charge in collaboration with trusted partner Antier. With deep expertise in blockchain, metaverse development, and Web3 architecture, Antier brings the scale, security, and innovation today's digital ecosystems demand. Discover a universe redefined by intelligence, design, and decentralized power. The future isn't coming, it's here. Luncverse, where innovation takes form and the virtual becomes real.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room.
What the heck is going on down here? It was the worst day on Wall Street.
This is historic for the crypto space.
What in the world is happening on Wall Street? 2-year no yields went from...
It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. You are a slave, Neo, born into a prison.
Crypto has doubled in price this year.
You do not sell your Bitcoin.
Bitcoin retreating from its weekend highs today, down more
The
than...
United States will be the crypto capital of the planet.
Trying to free your mind, Neo. But I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it.
Get your me off now and enjoy the perfection